The title of this video is The Dark Feminine Archetype Explained, Lilith through many different expressions, many different deities, that if you want to understand Lilith itself, you should listen to this video, as I will talk about all those expressions, which nobody really talks about even though it's quite obvious. And you will find just how obvious this is. Once you've listened to the whole video, you have a completely new understanding of what Lilith is about and how you can basically find her everywhere in culture, mythology, art, movies. It's not as rare as you would think. And that is why there's a fascination with this dark feminine that is not going to die out anytime soon, because it's been ongoing for thousands of years. And the oldest example that we can find on Lilith is Inanna, or Ishtar from Babylonian mythology, as the goddess of heaven, but also hell at the same time. She was a transversal goddess, which can actually go between the underworld and the world of the living and heaven, as she represents war, love, and sex. And you'll find that that's exactly what Lilith is about. Because then you go into Celtic mythology, and you will find the three Morigna, a three-faced goddess, which is represented by the raven, and which goes over the battlefields of those who died or who are wounded, to heal the wounded through sexual energy, through sexual affairs. So she would have sex with those wounded on the battlefield, while sucking the souls of those who died to eat their soul. And that is something that represents the dark side of the devouring mother, or dragon mother as it's called by Michael Sarian. And then you will find this example again through Viking mythology. You will find Hel, where the word hell comes from. There's literally a goddess called Hel, and she guides you through the underworld. She's awaiting your death. Very well, she's excited for your death, like she really wants you to die and to come into her arms, basically being helpless, being like food for her, you could say. And this is also an example of how in Greek mythology, Hecate, the three-faced goddess of the moon, actually guides you through her familiars, through her dogs. Dog represents the moon because the moon represents Cancer. Cancer is domestic. Cancer is I help you, I protect you, I guide you. And Hecate has the torch. She has the fire. And fire is a very important symbol for Lilith, I will talk about later. She guides you to the underworld to traverse, right, like Ishtar, from hell to heaven and back again. It's a transversal goddess. So in the natal chart, she represents how you can change from a place where you're frozen, where you're abused, where you're victimized, where you're helpless and powerless, which is Eve, right? Eve is like a shadow of Adam. Oh, Adam has the power, right? The patriarchal control system. Then Lilith comes and says, you know what? I'm independent. I don't need you. I don't need you to be my mother because you're a man. Why should I submit to you? So I go my own way. So the maiden, which is Eve, becomes the mother and then becomes the crown. And this transition from the underworld, maiden, right, Pluto, sex, the divine prostitute, which is the most primal form of Lilith. That's why she refers to sexuality, dark sexuality, oppressed minorities like homosexuals, lesbians, transsexuality, etc. All of this is Lilith territory. That's why if she's prominent in the chart, you will see there's a tendency towards these things, representing them, protecting them, being that, whatever. So then you go from that scandalous, but scandal attracting expression, but raw expression, to the mother, which is the more mature expression of the feminine. The mother protects, the mother creates a village, the mother provides. So now she uses her abilities, her attraction to gain money, to gain power. And then she gets into the crown, and the crown is where you break all the rules. You destroy the culture from which you come from, and you become a witch, which means you become an exile. You leave the garden, you're no longer a maiden, and then as you transition, you become the witch, the psychic, the guide, the mentor, the guru, in the feminine form. Yeah, but it's actually what Lilith is supposed to represent. It's not just, oh, it's just a prostitute. Oh, it's just a bitch. Oh, it's just a taboo figure. Like, really, we need to get away from this very archaic interpretation, which is very convenient because religion loves to demonize this expression. Demonize the maiden. As everybody has to go through maiden phase, as you bleed for the first time, that's why Lilith also represents blood, bloodletting, blood rituals, the dark side of the moon, where you become entangled to a new way of being, to another person, you become enmeshed with them, you become tortured, you become raped. So your body becomes their body. All of this psychology that I actually researched into this topic, how the mother gets twisted, how the body gets twisted, how our self-image gets twisted. And through all these twists, we become that thing that we are most afraid of being, which is to become a monster. And that's what happened also to Medusa, another expression of Lilith. That's why the fixed star Algol in the natal chart is the Lilith star. Even though it's the star of Medusa, everybody calls it the Lilith star. Well, why do you call Lilith Medusa? Like, is it just like on a whim? No, it's not. Because to be frozen, to be raped by Neptune, Neptune is the prison, Neptune is the manipulation, Neptune is the propaganda, Neptune is you are bad. Neptune is you don't know who you are. So you become the monster because you don't know who you are. That way, Lilith in the natal chart shows you that there is a dark secret about you. Something that you don't know, that nobody knows, but it's in your subconscious. And as you try to reveal that part of you, that taboo side of you, and society starts to attack you, starts to demonize you, starts to hunt you with pitchforks, like the witch trials. That's the witch archetype in a nutshell, right? That's why Hecate ruled witches. In ancient Greece, we already had witches. It's not a new thing, right? It's not like, oh, suddenly there were witches in the medieval ages. No. It's been around, of course, forever. But demonization happened also from the very beginning. The moment that Lilith became a thing, right? Like leave the Garden of Eden, leave Adam, leave the culture, leave the society, leave the patriarchal control system, suddenly it's a monster. So now we have feminist movements, which started just recently, like 30, 40 years ago. And then the feminists became very fascinated with Lilith. And they started to look more into that, like how can I bring a bit of Lilith into my personality? And now we have all these twists. We have all these rotten and corrupt expressions of people not knowing who they are, which we call gender identity. Right? Not knowing who you are. There's something wrong. Body dysmorphia, hating your body, hating the feminine. The body is the moon. The body is the mother. You come from the mother, so you are part of her body. You hate the mother hates you. You become enmeshed with the mother, you become helpless, you become Eve. So you don't have an identity. You are in the shadow of the patriarchy. And ironically, in that shadow, the twist arises. We have the transsexual movement. We have the distortions of the feminine, where the body is hated so much that the person decides to change their gender. From hatred, nothing else. From fear, from disgust, from Shame. So shame complexes. Lilith shows you. Oh, what are you afraid of? Oh, did you know you were actually a man? Oh, no, I'm not a man, I'm a woman. Or did you know you are homosexual? Oh, no, I'm not homosexual. I need to keep it secret. Society doesn't want that. Well, society is what? Culture. Culture is what? Well, cancer. Cancer is a sign in astrology. And cancer is the culture, the family. The family is the programming, the mind control, the conditioning. Lilith is breaking free from the programming. But first you are a maiden. First you are in your shadow. First you are Eve. First you are twisted and you don't know who you are. You become a tomboy. You become a transsexual. You become a feminist. You become an activist. You become whatever the fuck. Twist. And then you mature. And you realize, you know what? That hatred towards my body, that shame about my body, that's not me. That's not me. It's time to rebel against the culture. So Lilith destroys the programming, the definitions of male and female. Everything is destroyed. We dissolve the structure of the system. The structure, Saturn. Saturn, the religion. Religion is society, government. So evolution happens in a platonic manner. And that snake shedding its skin, that scorpionic theme, is as much part of Lilith as the Cancer theme is. Because Lilith starts in Cancer, starts as a little girl, and then turns into the scorpionic crown. And of course, through that, just like Cancer shedding its shell, Scorpio shedding its skin, the transformation you see in nature with these two animals, the crab changing its skin, after which it's extremely vulnerable and everybody can attack, right? Your vulnerability, you are naked, right? You are exposed, the darkest secret, so everybody can use it against you. People are trying to control you, people are trying to dominate you. All of this is Lilith territory. So therefore, to understand Lilith, look at Hecate, look at Medusa, look at Kali, look at even Persephone to a lesser degree, because Lilith guides Persephone through Hecate. And then we look at Algol. We look at the most malefic object that exists in astrology. Why it's so malefic? What's wrong with Medusa? What's wrong with Lilith? What's wrong with society that we can't be that? We can't go there. It's the darkest, deepest secret. We are ashamed, right? So we have all these resistances. So Lilith shows you where you have work to do, shadow work. Because the shadow, the deepest, darkest secret, you're trying to keep it all in the Cancer shell. You're not allowing the vulnerability to take place, because once it happens, that planet that Lilith is conjunction with, that angle, that asteroid, whatever you have, Lilith, that house, that sign, it becomes a rebellious part of you. So you rebel against everything the sign represents in its nature as you're trying to search for freedom. And as you're coming closer to freedom, you're moving from the moon, maiden, to Pluto, and the crown, you're moving into the Uranus territory, because you're moving into detachment. You're leaving Earth by connecting back to the mother. And that's something that a lot of people don't really understand about Lilith. Lilith is detachment. Yeah. I've been abused. I've been tortured. I've been raped. What do we do when we are raped? We dissociate. We shut down. And to take back control, we hide that part of ourselves that we are shamed for. Yeah, when they call us a slut, when they call us a witch, when they call us crazy or difficult, that part is fragmented. So this becomes our deepest, darkest secret. Lilith provokes. Lilith triggers rejection, negative reactions, people trying to exclude you. In Cancer, we find the belonging. In Cancer, we find the mother. We find back to her womb Lilith says, break the womb, destroy the womb. The womb is a prison, and I am trapped. So I must individuate and separate Uranus. I must detach. I must say, no, I don't need you. You don't get to control me. You don't get to say anything to me. I can go where I want to go. I can do what I want. I could go to the underworld. I can go to heaven. I can go to earth. I can be anywhere. So that is actually how it represents these transversal deities, Hecate, Ishtar, Hell, etc. Yeah. And of course, you don't actually find much of information, much proof behind this officially written anywhere. Nobody writes books about this. Nobody talks about this. I am the only one who talks about it because I do research. And because I see patterns. So it's very easy, actually, once you get into the mythologies and you see all the similarities, all the different sources pointing towards the same thing, the Lady of the Night. Lilith, which is called also a demon in Etruscan mythology, which is referring to something dark, something evil. And we talk about Algol, the evil star. What is this with evil? To destroy evil, to protect Medusa from Neptune, to protect Medusa from the rape, Athena, in an additional interpretation of a myth of Medusa, Athena protects Medusa by turning her hair into snakes. So Medusa freezes anybody who tries to touch her. Freezes them. Not herself. Freezes them. Medusa, aka Lilith, becomes the intimidation. Becomes the fear. Right? Because people are afraid of her. People can't even look at her. Because they look at themselves. They look at something that's triggered within them that they can't have any access to. Medusa gets isolated. And then, because she doesn't know who she is, she doesn't get validated by society, she has to find her own identity. And of course, before she can find it, Perseus comes, shows a mirror to Medusa. Hey, did you know you are a monster? She freezes herself and then chopped. Right? And from that body, from that carcass, from that corpse, society corpse, that corporation, that Medusa was a part of, that programming. Once that programming is broken, the ego is chopped off. Kali, in Indian mythology, you chop the head off, right? To destroy the ego. Lilith, healing happens. And then from Medusa's body, Pegasus arises. Pegasus, the white-winged horse, representing the wings of Isis, the wings of the Egyptian mother goddess. How Nephthys, her dark sister, turns to Isis, the high priestess, the divine mother. Because when the crone goes too far and the crone becomes a hermit, right? Medusa isolating herself, avoiding society, avoiding everybody, running away into the night, the Lady of the Night, running away, hiding herself, hiding her identity. She doesn't know who she is. When somebody comes along and when she finally finds out who she really is, just Pegasus. It's just freedom. And Perseus, the hero of the story, the divine masculine, who shows you who you are, who says, hey, is this you? The identity, the spark, the fire, the soul, takes the wings of the feminine and rides on her. Right? How Adam tried to ride Lilith. Well, it turns out Perseus rides Pegasus. Interesting, isn't it? So the masculine is supposed to be on the wings of the feminine. But when the feminine is unintegrated, when the feminine is demonized, both the hero and the victim stand alone. They're supposed to come together to unify. And then Perseus takes Medusa's head with him and uses it to petrify monsters and kill them, destroy them. So Medusa becomes a weapon. Lilith becomes a weapon of destruction, right? It becomes the compulsive destroyer in shadow, where we try to destroy everything, we want to destroy everything. But if we are used properly, we give the evil eye to those whom it belongs. And we actually, as a monster, destroy other monsters. And you see many examples of this from mythology, movies, games, where the anti-hero arises. Yeah, where you're not sure, the boundaries are blurred about whether we are good or we are evil. And then you see certain characters in other games, like Kreia in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, who is a mother to the Jedi, teaching the Jedi, training the Jedi to follow the rules. And when she leaves the Jedi, because she rejects the culture, the cult, the religion, the rules, she destroys the rules, founds her own cult of the Sith, and becomes a crone. And then Kreia says, you know what? I've been a crone, I've been a maiden, I've been a mother, I've been good, I've been bad, I'm grey now. She becomes a grey Jedi. She refuses to take a side, which means she takes her own side, which means she connects to her own identity. You see, transgenderism, gender identity, feminism, these are the distortions of the Sith. It's like the Sith with Kreia. She joins the Sith to find an identity outside of herself, because the culture from which she comes from is not supporting who she is. So she turns into another culture from one extreme to the next, right? Like when you're sick or when you're on the sad American diet, you go into detoxification, you go into breatharianism, right? If you have Lilith in Cancer like me, or Lilith in Virgo, and then you move to gray. I eat what I want. I don't care. But if I want to be healthy, I will eat healthy. But I will not be rigid. I'll be flexible, able to move around, go into detoxing, go into the sad diet, go into the transsexual LGBTQ community, but then say I'm not really a part of them. I'm just like looking at them because I don't belong anywhere. Belong to me, right? The strong, independent woman, the black woman, whatever the fuck you want to call it. The left finds her own identity. We see nothing but distortions all around us. And people try to find identity outside of themselves because they're not yet integrated. Yeah. And of course we see, the witch archetype. We see also psychics trying to connect with Lilith, trying to connect with the snake, which is the Kundalini. Yeah, the Kundalini represents the consciousness that wants to break free from the programming, go through all the channels, destroy all the armoring, destroy all the resistance, because if you have resistance towards being taken over, by who? By instinct, by the dark, by the mother, by divine intelligence. When Pegasus is finally the one who's being ridden by Perseus, the masculine rides the feminine, yin and yang meet together, that's the Kundalini awakening. That's the I freeze you, I freeze you, I freeze you, I'm free to move around. Ascended with the wings, right? Ascended, flying, Pegasus. Anyways, that whole Kundalini thing can't happen if the masculine and feminine are still separate. If the masculine is still trying to control the feminine, trying to tell her what to do. No, this is crazy. This impulse that you're feeling, you can't act on it. Keep it down. It's not really you. It's not your true identity. Take my identity, yes. Become LGBTQ. or become feminist, or become a witch, or whatever the fuck. But don't be you. The message with Lilith is, don't be you, don't be you. You, here's the mirror, you, Medusa, you're a monster, you're bad. So you see, the feminine being separated from the masculine is the Lilith shadow. And now we have it as a collective shadow. We have it as a worldwide phenomena. Like, look around. That's what's happening. You know, people are trying to control themselves, rationalize everything, stuck in the head, disconnected from the root. Not transversing between this and this. There's no transversing. It's just this. So the patriarchal control system is fully in charge. And then they say, yeah, I'm a feminist. I'm not a patriarch. But you're still operating in patriarchy because the patriarchy is in here. It's not out there. It's not in the gender. It's not in the sexuality. It's in here. It's when you have resistance towards what's down, what's below, what's in the bowels, what's our deepest, darkest secret. Because we're still insecure. We're still feeling we're in a minority. We are bad. Right? To be a woman is bad. Or to be in a minority means you're not supported. The mother, aka the culture, aka the world, doesn't support you. You are in exile. And there's actually a character in Star Wars called the Exile, who's trained by Kreia, trained by the crone, who was disconnected from the force, disconnected from the body, disconnected from the feminine, and now reconnects to the feminine thanks to the guidance of Kreia, the guidance of Hecate. You see this in the mythology of Persephone, who's a slave to her mother, the devouring mother, which is the shadow of Demeter. Demeter says to her daughter, I need you to be with me. Stay with me. Never leave me. You are mine. Your identity is tied to me. You need to serve me. The mother, the world, God, the body, being the ultimate controller, the ultimate conspiracy theory. Right? We go into detox communities and they say, yeah, you need to heal the body and then you are pure. Yeah, right, this could. Or you go into religion, they say, you need to do all these rituals, you need to follow all these rules. Or, I don't know what other examples there are. But to go back on topic. The thing is, if we want to be free as individuals, we need to be divided individuals. First, before we come back, we need to divide first. And that's why people rebel. Yeah. But of course you can get stuck there if you don't come back to yourself. If you don't self-reflect, if you don't self-validate, if you find validation outside of you. And then Lilith actually becomes a mimic. Becomes a false self-overlay. We call this Lilith programming, where the shadow of Eve, of I'm not welcome, who I am, is helpless, is powerless. I need to submit to some kind of a rule. Need to submit to preferentialism, need to submit to LGBTQ, need to submit to society or culture or religion or whatever. And then often Lilith in the natal chart shows you where you feel powerless. You feel like you need to take, you need to give it all away. You need to detach your awareness. You need to behead, but in the wrong way. When it's not your ego that's being beheaded, but Medusa. You are being beheaded. You are no longer in charge. And now your head is what's for breakfast. Now your identity is no longer your own. It's now eaten by impulses. And that's why Lady of the Night is actually, that's the main reason why she's connected to demons. Because guess what happens when you leave your body? When you, right, Ramdas being nobody, that demonic shit, When you are no longer yourself, you're no longer connected to the root, you're no longer connected to the body, you're not anchored to the mother, you're not sitting on Pegasus anymore. Now demons take over. Now entities take over your body. Now you are full of false self-overlays. You're full of culture, the cult. You're full of interjects, other people's voices controlling you from the subconscious. You don't even know it's their voices. You don't even know you're controlled by entities. You don't even know you did an exorcism. Right? Because Lilith shows you in the chat that's where exorcism needs to happen. Because there's a danger of leaving your body, of becoming ungrounded. Yeah. And that is alcohol. Lose your head is a metaphor. Actually, as you lose your head, you get stuck in the head. You get stuck in overthinking, overanalyzing. Who am I? What am I supposed to do? I don't know. Indecisiveness, frozen. Right? You become frozen when it's other people around you that should freeze in the face of the fact that they can't control you. They can't tell you what to do. And then you feel like society wants to imprison you. Society wants to put you behind bars. Gone. Dead. Destroyed. And then Lilith is the thing we fear the most. We don't want to be Lilith. We don't want to be the outsider. Because the psychic channel, the ego destroyer, Kali, that's scary. You know, you look at Kali and people say, who the fuck is this? What the hell is that? That's crazy. I don't like this. People say, oh, I don't like the snake. Religion says the snake is evil. Religion says the snake is a servant of the devil. Meanwhile, it was the opposite all along. Meanwhile, it's the snake that is the Kundalini, the consciousness, the awakening, the liberation from what? From the ego, which is the culture, which is those people who came before you, which is the past, which is Cancer, which is the moon. That's why Lilith is the dark side of the moon, because you say no to that shit show. You say no to the matrix. Matrix, Saturn moon matrix. Yeah, you go into any esoteric studies, you see Saturn moon matrix is in control of this realm. The moon cycles is where they do their rituals to try to control the moon, to control society. Like a big bad flashlight to broadcast that subconscious message that they want you to operate in, that feeling, that state of being, that fear. That's why in the tarot, the moon represents fear. The moon represents uncertainty. I don't know who I am. I don't know what to do. Society tells me. The authority tells me. The authority, which is the patriarchal control system that I'm trying to break apart. But if I try to break it, it will break me. Saturn. Moon. This combination, this matrix is like... first they hijack your feelings. They get you stuck in the sacral chakra. Because the sacral chakra is survival. Cancer is survival. Your food, your home, your money, which is money. Money. Control the money, control you. Make you fear money. Money is evil. Moon is evil. Lilith is evil. Right? Demonize the feminine. Again. Demonize money. Demonize your desire for money, your attachment to money. Oh no, I don't care about money. I am altruistic. It means you don't care about the mother. You don't care about yourself. You don't care about food, comfort, shelter, security, stability. You don't want to accumulate money. You want to give it away to the patriarchy, to the mind, to the head that's trying to suppress your attachments. Buddhism, another culture, another religion, another program. All of this propaganda all around you, everywhere. So, of course, we're still in the patriarchal control system. Nothing has changed. Ironically, thousands of years of this shit show. And still people are completely misguided. Don't know what's right or wrong. What's the truth? Well, the truth is, the mother has been calling you all along. But we've been ignoring her. Ignoring the mother. So the mother is in the dark, in the shadows, alone, frightened. Because we are frightened. We are frightened of her. We are frightened of our dependency on money, our dependency on survival, on shelter. So we want to die. We want to be dead in a death culture that worships not you, not your feelings, but the intellect, the tool that you use to rationalize whatever you want to give away, where you become a sacrifice. Yeah, where you are Jesus on the cross. You're Eve now, because you should conform, you should work hard, you should be a slave, you should follow the rules. The rules are for your safety, for your security, right? As the Germans used to say in World War II, für ihre Sicherheit. Cancer, believe it or not, the rules bad too. Cancer is the world, Mother Earth. The earth is our security. And the sacral chakra. So if the sacral chakra is cramped, contracted, you get stuck in the head. Because you try to detach from the mother. Because the mother is hurting. The mother is in pain. The mother is now Lilith. The mother is burning at the stake. The mother is tortured, imprisoned, raped, abused. And we try to rationalize it like, yeah, it's just what has to happen. You just need to get over it. Just need to move on. If you want to be happy in this world, you just need to move on. You just need to detach and let go. Buddhism, Ram Dass being nobody, New Age. Indoctrination everywhere you go. You're not safe anywhere from this propaganda. It's an old record. It's not new. The mother is still being suppressed. Can you recognize it? Can you come back? Can you connect to her pain, her distress, her anxiety, and her rage? How angry the mother is at the mistreatment, at the imprisonment. Let me out! The primal scream. The first scream we make when we come into this world as a baby. What am I doing here in this culture? Let me out! I want to go back. Back to my mother. Why did you separate me from the mother? The baby already knows. But are you in contact with that? Because as you get older, you lose contact more and more to that baby, that inner child, that softness, that divine voice within you, still calling out for the mother. We just get used to it. Used to silencing her, not listening, not hearing her. She's gone from the daily life of society. And if you try to connect, you are the crazy one. You're the difficult one. Why do you demand? Why do you want anything from me? Why are you so clingy? Why are you so needy? The emotionally unavailable avoidance says. Why are you so selfish? The narcissist says. And there is shame. Shame on you for having needs. Shame on you for wanting to be happy in a world that seems to increasingly become more hostile, trying to gaslight you, to invalidate your needs. Like the mother doesn't matter. The mother is not here. She's dead in the ground. And when the mother comes up, Kundalini rises, Lilith steps into her power, you are crazy. Because you are an enemy now of society. You have to understand you become an enemy to the programming that tries to keep you in check. Wherever Lilith occupies the natal chart in astrology, you have to fight to be free. Because they try to use shame, guilt-tripping, all those manipulation tactics to bring you back into the dark, where you belong, according to them. And that is really interesting because now as our consciousness is rising, We're becoming increasingly more aware of these psychodynamics in our body, in our cells. And Lilith is coming back online. The mother is becoming louder. We're hearing her. The mental illnesses that we see, the depression, the anxiety, the ADHD, is increasing exponentially. Every single year there are more people suffering. Why are they suffering? Because the mother is trying to come back. But of course, the mother has been so neglected. We are blaming it on a biochemical imbalance. We're saying ADHD is genetic. The detachment is genetic. Detachment is from the mother. Is the fear of the mother. And if you ever want to read about that, check out dragonmother.org. It talks about the fear of the mother in narcissism and other personality disorders. How fear of the mother is the true cause of autism and ADHD. Yeah, it's the fear of our own anxiety, our own distress, our own pain. But it's just too much to handle. We are dysregulated because there's no room. Society doesn't support us. So we go back into hermit mode, into the shell, feeling isolated, like we can't socialize, we can't connect to people, because it's the mother that connects, the mother that binds you to the people around you. Without her, you're just a robot. You don't want anything. Ram Dass being nobody. You're a Buddhist, you're detached from everything, you have no desires. You're a monk, you're a freaking freak show. Frozen, alcohol. You are dead in a death culture, a zombie. The Walking Dead, right? You are a Grey Walker in Game of Thrones. All of this is just an expression. The undead. So there's a fascination really with undead increasingly in culture. A fascination with skulls, bones, gothic culture. The divine feminine rage. Expressing in clothing, in art, in music, heavy metal. Yeah, that's why I say Lilith is heavy metal energy. People who have thrown in Lilith places probably like rock or metal music of some kind. But that's just me. Because, of course, it's all energy. So Lilith shows you where that dark heavy metal energy operates in your life, and you need more of that heavy metal. You need more of that. You need to get through that wall, that fucking stubborn conditioning, that stubborn ego. Get through it and say, you know what, yeah, I'm that prostitute. Yeah, I'm that witch. Yeah, I'm difficult. What are you going to do about it? Try to restrain me, try to control me, try to punish me, Saturn. Try to put me into the Saturn box, the Borg cube, to conform. I'll make my own society. I'll make my own rules. Right? Because the mother is calling. Because my feeling says no. My mind says yes, yeah, you should conform. They're going to reward you because you want the money. Right? You want to get paid. You want to get accepted. You want to get fed by the mother's tits. To get the milk, which is the validation and the love to which you are addicted to. So other people can support you. So you can feel like you're belonging. You are supported, they like you, great. But are you liking yourself? Because if you're not, then the mother is once again in the dark. So individuate and separate, and you'll find the culture around you is changing, as you are that change. You are that devil trigger. Yeah, that's what I also call it, like the devil trigger. I'm calling your devil now. I'm calling you out now. On that one liberator where you're trying to give me rules. You're trying to control my behavior and how I move. I don't think so. Yeah, watch me as I break the rules. Yeah, watch me as I do things that are bad for me and bad for you. Now come and see what happens, because whoever is in charge, whoever has the power here, Might is right in the eyes of society. But what's right for you may not be right for somebody else. So we are split, we are divided. But we need to be divided to come back to the mother. Ironically, you can't come back to the mother unless you recognize the division inside of you and how important it is to separate from that oneness, noneness, that non-duality, that Advaita bullshit, that society bullshit, that religion, that new age, that new cage. It tries to impose a structure upon you, a way of being. You should be nobody. You don't matter. You have no value. The mother is the fucking value. The feeling that informs you what to do. How do I feel about this? Is this me? Is this not me? That has the value. And without that, you truly do have no value. It's true. And nobody recognizes somebody like that. Somebody who never rises above their station because they're frozen at the bottom, still in the shadow of Eve. So I hope this little rundown of Lilith in a nutshell is helping you to understand this archetype a little bit better. So if you'd like to get more information on Lilith, more information about your natal chart, your other placements, check out my services down below. You can book a natal chart reading with me at any given time. Private message me if you're interested. And if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.